We are rolling here. This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah is right. That's what everyone's saying right now. That's with you right there. That is Liz Miele, my guest on episode 412.
Woo!
Yeah, 412 of these things here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis. No Laugh Track Podcast. I am Justin Severson, the host, and like I said, I'm here with Liz Miele. Hi, Liz. We met 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah.
I feel like we caught up. I know everything about you. You know everything about me.
Yeah, we should have been recording. No, I'm kidding. How are you?
I'm good. I'm like happy to be like, this is my first month back, second week, like doing a full run. So I'm both like nervous and giddy at the same time.
Mm-hmm. What is your history in Minnesota?
I think I was here like once or twice before. I don't remember. I was actually like walking around today. I was like, it's really pretty here. Like, I don't know if I had a prejudgment of the city before, but I spend such little time in each city that like I'm either like, or I'm like, I don't know enough information. So I don't think I had a feeling.
So like the big landmark that everybody hits up here, Mall of America. Have you been there? Do you want to go there or do everything to avoid it?
No, I grew up in Jersey where the only thing we had was malls. I hate malls. I really do. They're so sad to me. I don't care that it's your biggest mall. Or
I'm not bragging about it. Don't get me wrong. What do you mean you don't want to go?
Yeah.
Why do you hate us?
I've already hit like because I'm such a cliche where I'm just like I want unique things, but I've already been to a Starbucks and a Trader Joe's, so there's a part of me that's like, you know, I just have to hit like a Dunkin' Donuts and a Lululemons, and I've hit all of America. But so I'm cliche in the sense that probably I've been to every Target in every city in the country because it's comfortable and I know where stuff is.
Oh yeah.
It's just like I need hair ties. I'm not gonna get it from anywhere but Target.
They know you better than anyone else.
I'm just like I just feel like at home every cashier is the same. That's not true. That's very mean. But I also like trying to find unique stuff. So I grew up like 40 minutes outside of Philly. I've always hated Philly. I feel bad saying that. I'm like 45 minutes from Philly, an hour and 15 from New York, and I started in New York. I don't think I even did a gig in Philly for like a couple of years in. But that's like where I went to concerts when I was a teenager and stuff. Okay. But I've always just like, fuck Philly. Yeah. And I've been very open about that. Yeah. And then this trip, and usually if I did a gig, it was like a one-nighter. So this trip, I was there... Or I would stay with my parents, so I'm not even staying in a hotel. So I'm staying in a hotel. I'm there for 3 days. I write to my little sister's best friend who used to live in Philly. I go, what can I do during the day? Like, what's some things? I was like, I am my sister. Whatever Emmy likes, I'll like. Yeah. And so she told me about some cool art stuff and some vintage stores. And there was this magic garden. So I'm like, oh, what is this? Like a tree in a park? Like this is probably gonna be something stupid. I'm so mean to Philly. I look it up. It's incredible. It's this dude. It's like mosaics. It's like glass and cups and like broken and it's like, it's all over this like 20 block radius. And then they also have a museum. I couldn't even get into the museum because it was sold out, but you could see the free version of it everywhere. It's incredible. And I roamed around for 2 hours. It's people's backyard. It was like the coolest art I've ever seen. And it changed my mind I was like, I've been wrong for 35 years about Philly. I'm so sorry. And I just realized, like, I do that when I tour Europe because I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be in Belgium again. I'm going to try to see as much as possible. You know, I don't take for granted going overseas because I just don't know if I never even thought my life would bring me overseas. But like, you know, I'll be in like Scranton and I'm just like, fuck you, Scranton. Like, you know, like but now I'm trying to be like, okay, well, what are the things I already like that I'll enjoy? So I love street art. I love any kind of handmade stuff. I love flea markets. And all of a sudden I'll be like in Cleveland, I'll go to an antique store and now I love Cleveland. Like, so I'm trying to be more open, but I'm starting to realize what a stupid bitch I am because like I really have been like, not that I even think New York is all that great. I don't know if this is like a comics thing. I eat the same thing. I go to every town seems the same to me. So I'm like, I'm going to eat a burger in my hotel room after my gig. And then if I go for a run, I'll be proud of myself, but I don't need to do anything here. I'm here for work.
Yeah. I want to ask you about that thing in Philly. Is that a traveling show? Like if you go back there 5 years from now after telling everybody and then it's gone, is it going to be the biggest disappointment ever?
Oh, no. It's like an installation. It's okay. Like, I can't even tell you how permanent it is. It is like mosaics are like, I learned about it in middle school. I did a project on it. So that's why I was so excited.
Here we go.
But, you know, it's like, I don't know if it has to be glass, but it's like, you know, pieces of glass that they make and it turns into like a picture.
Yeah.
But this is like broken glass. This is like, it's there's art all over it. But this guy, I should know his name. I got like every pamphlet. I was so excited. But he's been doing it since like, I don't know, the 90s, and then it became an art installation in like 2008, which made me feel better because I called up my older sister and I was like, are we just like fucking uncultured? Like, what's wrong with us that we lived 45 minutes from this place and I never knew about it, but it didn't become a thing until 2008. And, I was already like on the road and being like, fuck America. Like, I was just like, I truly, I think I just didn't like my upbringing, that anything that reminds me of it, I just kind of shit on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, again.
That's a natural instinct.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Yeah. So I saw your set last night here.
Yeah. Did you see my insecurity? I was like, guys, is anybody here?
I watched you comment on the different parts of the audience. Yeah, no doubt. You said, so what's the longest set you did during quarantine? Like last night you did a little over 50 minutes.
Yeah. Beginning of quarantine, I was very fortunate, and I feel really grateful because I did cry during quarantine. I'm not going to pretend like I wasn't like, my life's over, my career's over, everything sucks. I had my meltdowns, but I worked pretty consistently, and I've always been really good. I never had quintessential success in this business, so I've always had to pivot. I've always had to make my own work. So this was annoying in the sense that I was starting to get work without trying, and now I had to try again. But it was also really innate for me to just, okay, well, what can I do? Because I'm not going to sit on my ass for however long this is. So I was very fortunate. I started getting corporate gigs pretty quickly. So I did a couple corporate things early in the pandemic, unfun, to the point where like, the first time somebody was like, do you want to do an hour? I was like, sure. And then the second time they were like, do you want to do an hour? I was like, I'll do 40 because without laughs, that's an hour.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
no.
I started to adjust because if nobody's laughing, you can't hear them or whatever. It's the most painful hour. So it was good money because it was corporate, but it was so and also
you can hear the digital clock ticking.
Also, like, you bomb and then you stay in a hotel room and you never stay there again. Or you bomb or you drive for 4 hours and you process your emotions. I've never bombed in my PJs in my own room before, and it's just not fun. Like, I don't want to bomb near the things I love.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your comfort spots.
I'm bombing in front of my cat. How is she ever going to look at me in the eye again? Like, she was just like, she was thinking I'm going through a breakup every day. She's like, what's wrong with you? You're so emotional. So I did a bunch of corporates, and then I did almost like, felt like nothing. Like my June, there was no Zoom shows, there was no outdoor shows, there was like nothing. And then it started to be a mix of like Zoom shows and outdoor shows, like park shows and stuff. But then I just, because I learned how painful it was, if you weren't going to pay me the money I felt that work deserved, I didn't take anything over a half hour. So I probably did like a half hour 5 times in the last 6 months via Zoom.
Yeah, wow.
And then I did like one headlining. Things seemed like a little better in the summer, early fall, like September. So I did like 2 road headline things, and then everything got canceled again. And
then we took that step back.
Yeah, and then we went back to hibernating.
Yeah, so I know some things about you that we definitely need to talk about, like your podcast, like a book that just came out.
Yeah.
I don't know which order should we do those in. Let's do the podcast first. We're going to make people wait on this.
Yeah, of course.
Tease with,
yeah,
with
yeah.
The book.
What is it about? We have no idea.
The podcast. You started that during...
Like immediately, like I was in Europe. I was in the middle of a European tour, and I was staying with my best friend, who I now do the podcast with. But like, she was supposed to open for me. I was going to be in Europe for like a month, and I was able to do 2 cities. I did Paris and London, and I was still in London. I was going to head to, I think, Germany, and everything got canceled. And I went home because I, can't have a pandemic without me. So I ran to the epicenter. I was like, guys, New York, I want to die with you. So I went home, and like as I'm boarding a plane, I'm texting her. I was like, we should start a podcast. Like I was just like, this is gonna be bad. And my biggest worry for my mental health was like, I've never stopped before. I've learned a lot about myself over this time, but I've never stopped and like not been creative. And I was really worried that like I was going to lose my mind. So a part of me was like, if there's going to be no shows, and I didn't think of Zoom shows. The world thought of Zoom shows.
Yeah, right.
So my initial thought was like, fuck, we need something. And so literally got home, had the idea when I was texting her, because we've been friends for like 15 years. And then we started recording 3 days later. And then 2 weeks later came out with our first 3 episodes.
And if people don't know, you started at 16 doing comedy, right?
Yeah.
So you literally like, you're telling the truth, and you're like, you don't know a moment.
I don't know who I am without comedy.
Yeah.
I kind of do. I was very sad. I was very depressed.
You got a glimpse. It's not
Yeah,
good.
it's clinical depression. So I'm always just like, if I stop, the sadness comes back. The sadness has come back during comedy. Actually, more sadness,
right,
probably.
let's be honest.
Yeah, I actually think some more sadness. But it is to the point where therapy has helped me kind of unravel and kind of pull apart a little bit that notion, because my success was my value. Being funny is my value. Mm-hmm. Like, I put so much belief that this is the only thing that is good about me and the only thing that is important, that when it didn't go well, I wasn't important anymore. And if people didn't like me in comedy, I didn't have value. So it's not great, and I've had to do a lot of work with that, but it also, I think, saved me. Like, as cheesy as that sounds, I was a deeply unhappy child.
Yeah. So is it true, because we should say the name of the podcast, Two Non-Doctors.
Yeah, it is true. I am not a doctor.
End of the show. That's all I was looking for. Is it true that both you and Michelle?
Maria.
Maria. Why am I saying? Well, I got an M right.
Yeah.
Maria, is it true that your parents wanted you to be doctors?
So Maria is 100% Egyptian. So just in general, it's lawyer, doctor. Those are her choices. She's been disappointing them forever. And then my parents are veterinarians.
Yeah, both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
So they owned animal hospitals. They've retired and sold it since. But there's 5 of us in my family. I was the crazy cat lady. Like, I was the child that loved cats, that was obsessed with it, that was like, I clearly now it's like, that's not the thing you need to be obsessed with. It should be science. But enough so that my parents really thought that I was going to go down I thought I was going to go down that path, and
you did. Okay.
And how cushy my life would have been. I would have inherited a cat clinic. I would have had no troubles. I mean, it's hard to get into vet school, and I'm a moron, so that, and my parents aren't like these rich people that could have gotten me in. They're just veterinarians.
Right. People have just graduated.
Yeah,
like, was she fucking kidding?
Yeah,
you know how much work I had to put in?
Yeah, they're not going to be like the great Dr. James Miele's daughter. It's just they were veterinarians and they had to practice. I still had to like learn science and go. And I think when that started to set in, I was like, I was like, oh God. Not that this path was any easier, but I just I like science, but I'm not smart, and I'm dyslexic. My dad's dyslexic, and he didn't discover it until he started having a bunch of dyslexic kids. So God knows how hard it was for him in the 60s, 70s.
Oh my.
Yeah, no, and
wow.
He's really dyslexic. And so there's 5 of us. My older sister and my younger brother are the least dyslexic, and then us in the middle, we're all the most dyslexic. And my brother Sam, who's second youngest, is like, he was in special classes even in college, and then ended up dropping out. But like, I still struggle with it. I don't like people looking at my notes. I've lost set lists, and my anxiety is that they're going to see everything spelled wrong, because for me, I don't change the spelling, but like, if I was going to hand you my set list, if you were like a booker or something, I would make spell check it, but like, all my notes are just jumbled messes.
Well, what about social media posts then?
I make a lot of mistakes. I get made fun of a lot. I had my friend from high school. I remember this so clearly. It must have been like 10 years ago when Twitter was really starting to take off, and I was trying to tweet more. Now it's like, it's never going to happen. Twitter's never going to happen for you, Liz.
Ditto.
But I would make mistakes, and you can't correct them like you can on other posts. And she calls me up, and she's like, if you would like to send me your tweets before you post them, I'd be happy to look at them. Didn't say like, hey, this is wrong. I was like, how bad is it? She's like, it doesn't make sense. And I was like, okay. All right. As opposed to like, I get, grammar Nazis. And first of all, you're like, I'm using a 4 instead of FOR. Like, there's no rules on Twitter. Like, fuck off. If you know what it says, you know what it says. Right. But in some ways, the only time it really bothers me is I'll read it like 18 times and then I'll post it, and then there's a mistake, and I'm like, why, brain? Like, it makes me so upset. But like, my newsletter for my fans, at the end of it, it says, please don't like spell check that. Like,
no.
I'm like, literally, because I'm so tired of those. I'm like, I'm dyslexic. I did the best I can. If you would like to learn more about my dyslexia, and then I linked to a conference I did for the Dyslexic Advantage like 5 years ago.
There you go.
Yeah, it's how I made half my friends, is they found this talk I did. But I do the best I can, but it's not going to get better.
Yeah.
And if you're my friend, it's horrible, because like if I'm like in a new relationship, I'm like spell checking the shit out of every single text that I send you. But my friends,
I bet.
No, I've stopped. Like they are, it's like hieroglyphics. They're like trying to figure out what this says. Like Maria's the best at it. Maria's just like, it seems like you're sad, but there's 4 words missing. And I was like, oh, I am. I'm definitely sad. She's like, okay. It took me like 10 minutes and that was really long for me. So are you tired? Like your dyslexia is getting real bad today. Like, it's like, so it's just, I don't know. I'm just kind of used to people seeing my mistakes,
Sure.
but I try not to make them. It's never going to be perfect.
And you wrote a book. That's amazing.
I did. I mean, the nice thing is like I had an editor, like my poor editor, like especially when he would literally call me up and he goes, 3 people looked at this. What is this word? And I would look at it and I'd be like, I don't know. I really don't know. I was like, let me look at it for a couple of days and I'll let you know. Like, so I warned him too when he gave me the book deal, because he like found me and he found a joke of mine and like kind of presented me with the idea for the book, which is a very backwards way of getting a book deal.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have
you were discovered.
I was discovered. It was so funny too. So basically my manager emails me and like, I don't know if you're like this, but like, I first of all, I assume everybody is like a prince from Somalia that's trying to take money from me. Like every email, I just don't trust it, everything. But then for some reason, my phone, if it's like an LA number, I'm like, Hollywood's calling. I was like, Hollywood. Like my manager has like called me 3 times. So it's always like either she's leaving or Hollywood's calling. And it's usually they're leaving. So, she emails me about this book deal and she's like, he saw this bit you did about cats. He wanted to see if you wanted to write a book about cats. Are you interested? I was like, interested? I've been waiting 10 years for this. I was like, this is the only thing I can do. I was like, let's do it. So we set up the meeting and it's just this editor that had an idea. He's like, I have 2 cats with my wife. They're the worst, but I love them. And I wanted somebody with a perspective of like, they're the worst, but I love them. And that's pretty much how I talk about cats in general and pretty much everything. And so the bit he found, I never know what I titled it, but it was something like everyone's one bad breakup away from owning a cat. And like the whole thesis of it is like you don't buy a cat, like something bad has to happen to you and then they fall into your life. And
meant to be.
I love a good laugh. This is better than last night. Just like one laugh to the left. I was just like, so it's perfect.
Brandon, you're killing it.
Seriously, best audience member. What are you doing tonight? I have a show at 8.
Yeah, managing.
Yes. Yeah. So he and I presented my idea. Like he was like, "How would you write this?" Presented it, made an outline, and then got a book deal. And that's not how it works. Like I have a very cushy thing. And so I told him, I was like, I'm very upfront about it. I was like, I'm dyslexic. It's going to be a jumbled mess. Like, it makes sense, but there's like my grammar is horrific and my spelling. What I do a lot is I'll ask Siri. I'll be like, Siri, how do you spell appreciate? Siri, how do you? But like, if you're in the flow of writing, you can't do that. Like,
sure.
You know what I mean? And that's why like my notebook is crazy, and that's why my first drafts are almost unreadable, and even I have trouble with them. But like, you don't break the flow to be like, Siri, how do you spell?
I want to see that copy of the book, because could you have made one copy that just is the rough draft of all your spelling?
You want to know who gets that copy is whenever I sign books now, because it's in permanent marker, and I'm like, okay, what's your name? Justin? And I'll go, it's Justin, right? And they're like, right. And then I'll write a message, and in the middle of writing the message, I'm like, I don't know how to spell this word. And so then I'm just like, and what I do is I just do like a SP question mark and or I'm sorry, sad face.
Well, you're going to get tested.
Oh, yeah. So excited. Thanks for getting my book.
I bought the book.
Do you have cats?
We have 1 cat.
You're like sad that there's no S of it. What's your cat's name?
I don't want to tell you because...
Oh, is it a bad cat name?
Yeah, because I watched your... well, not the whole thing, I'll be honest. I watched part of your reading in the Q&A and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
and the chapter you read from the book...
Oh, yeah, I'm real mean
YouTube
about it.
...is about cat names.
It's like a scathing op-ed about cat names.
Yeah, I took it personally.
What's your cat's name?
Meow Meow.
It's so bad.
I know it is.
Did you name your cat?
Jokingly.
And then it just stuck.
Yes.
So, okay, so this is my next question. What is the actual name what do you actually call your cat? Because everybody has, like, what the veterinarian knows and how you introduce it.
Oh, I know. No, we...
So you're like, meow, meow, meow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I have a daughter whose nickname is
Mew Mew.
Is Nunu.
Oh, no. Wow.
Which is a weird variation, shortening, mispronunciation of peanut. Peanut, Pinu, Nunu. That's how we got to Nunu.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It gets confusing in the house sometimes.
I'm sure it does.
Nunu, stop! Meow, meow! Get down! Like, oh no,
Nunu, did you shit on the carpet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny because I am, and it's all like, it's truly like, there's like research in this book, but there's also a lot of like opinion, and I won't back down. I will fight everybody on it. But I'm so like, it's not going to college. Fucking just have fun with it. My brother, I made me so proud. My brother, there's a toad. My parents just moved. My brother lives with them. There's a toad that visits him every day, and he sends a group text to me and my sister Emmy, and he was like, "We need to name it. I see him every day. Please tell me your name option." So I gave like a whole list. I went from like real weird, like go fuck yourself, Carl. Full name, go fuck yourself, Carl. Yeah. To like Billy Bob Thornton, and then the last one was coupons. And my sister's like, coupons, and he was like, and this toad is now named Coupons. And I was like, fuck, I gave you such a great name. I was like, Coupons would be a great cat name. I was like, I can't believe I gave this toad my best cat name. Like, I was like, for days, I was like, fuck, I fucked up.
I named 2 cats in a previous relationship, and I stand by these a little more.
Okay.
Frankie.
Okay.
Rocco.
Okay, not bad.
Ooh, you didn't like Rocco.
Yeah, I would have to meet the cat if I'm being really honest, because some really do. Like somebody would be like, "This is my cat Steve," and I'd be like, "That's bad." And then you meet Steve, and you're like, "That's a Steve." Yeah. Like that's on. Like he's wearing a tie. Like that's a Steve. But I don't know.
I took Rocco as someone with attitude.
Okay.
Cat had a lot.
And
of
I
attitude.
do like it when people like. I'll be very frank. My cat had her name before I even met her. Like I knew I was going to name a cat Pasta, so it really just didn't matter what the cat's name was going to be, Pasta. And that's on me. I kind of like that's not the best way to do it. But then I met her, and I was just like, "You're a Pasta." I don't know. I just want people to be crafty with it, because think about how much judgment you get for like a kid's name. Like there's just so much judgment there.
Oh, I'm super judgy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So my youngest brother's name is Greg, and I was 11 years old when Greg was born. I'm the second oldest. And my parents were like, we're going to go with Greg or Harrison. And I was like, Harrison. And they're like, why not Greg? And I was like, because there's a Greg in my class and he's an asshole. Like, I was like, it's a bad name. It's a gross name. And then they went with Greg Harrison. And I was like, and then we tried calling him Harry for a while, and we just didn't keep with it. So now my brother hates it. But I'm like, and he's a lovely man. My brother's a great person. But I was like, it's a bad name. It's a shitty name. Greg is the worst name. It doesn't matter how many G's you put on it. You can't fix it. It's just a bad name. Greg, Craig, all those names. Horrible names.
Gregory.
And like, it's just bad. I'm writing a script right now, and I went.
Liz just got engaged to Gregory. What do you guys think?
I feel bad, because if I ever meet like the man of my dreams and his name is Greg, I'm going to be like, can I just start calling you a different name? Just because I just want to see if this really is going to work out. Can I just give you a different name? He's like, and he tells me his middle name is like, it's like Greg Craig. Like it's like something horrible. Crap.
I'm sorry, I cut you.
No, not at all.
Your brother's name? You were going to say about him, he's a great guy.
He's a good kid. He's a good person. It's just a bad name.
You know what? Maybe that'll come back to you. But I was going to say that one of the things in your book, because I unlike like if you watch one of these late night talk shows, they're like, oh yeah, I read the book. I didn't get it in time to read it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had a chance to glance through it.
Okay,
and one of the things I saw is there's a part of naming some of the more famous cats that are out there. Right, like Grumpy Cat. Oh
yeah. Well, it's to me, it's just about the different breeds. So dogs have breeds. Like they have both. Like that's a German Shepherd, that's a Great Dane, and there are cat breeds. There is like the Russian Blue and like whatever. There's a bunch of.
My mind is blown, and people know that.
Well, I only know it because my parents are vets. But like, no, you're a rich old lady that kids have gone to college if you have a breeded cat. Like, it's just not something,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to, I'm not saying breeded dogs aren't expensive, but it's more commonplace to get a breeded dog. Most cats, like my mom, I would be like, oh, that cat's really pretty. What is it? And she'd be like, it's a domestic short hair. And I'd be like, Mom, it has long hair. She's like, oh, it's a domestic long hair. Like, it's just, she just didn't care. And she's basically just saying it's a mutt. Like, nobody cares. That cat fucked an alley cat, and that cat fucked another alley cat, and now it's blue. Like, it doesn't matter. So you just don't think that way. Cats really are just like free. Like if you're paying for a cat, you're usually paying because it already got its vaccinations. Like they're just not, nobody cares, which is sad. But to me, so I was in Europe. This was maybe 5 years ago. And keep in mind, my mom watches my cat when I'm gone. So my cat's already a burden to her life.
Sure.
And my mom sends me a picture of a kitten with one eye. And she goes, do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I want it. You know I want it. Why would you send that? Like, I'm overseas. You're watching my cat. Of course I want this one-eyed cat. I love a broken cat. Like, I love a cat that just, like, encapsulates how I feel about myself. And then she was just like, do you really want it? I was like, no, Mom, I can't have another cat. Like, I can't, like, as a human, have another cat. Like, I can't be a single person with another cat. I also can't be a comedian with another cat. And also, do you want to be watching this cat? I was, like, so mad at her. And then 3 days later, she goes, oh, it actually doesn't have one eye. It had some kind of it had something wrong with it, and we cleaned it and fixed it and cleared it up, and it just its eye opened and it actually has an eye. I was like, oh, good, because I couldn't handle another cat. But I call those pirate cats. Like I like renaming. Like I like my sister's cat has 3 legs, and it's a pirate cat. Like she's adorable.
Well, then I should let you know that our cat has some sort of disorder where it has 4 legs.
Yeah,
but it basically only uses 3.
Does it have? Is it a neurological?
Yes.
So my parents,
it'll walk and then slump over.
But does it like tap dance a little bit? Yes.
Oh, yeah. Can't jump. It doesn't really jump.
It's like the best videos where you see them. They're like, you really are like, oh, they've been practicing. They're ready, and then they just go, like they just fall.
She looks drunk.
Yeah. So
I call her Handy Cat.
Oh, nice. See, these are all the good nicknames. Yeah. So, my parents had these 2 kittens they could not get rid of because they had these neurological diseases. We named them Rocky and Boinkle. My mom loves the pairing. Like she'll call anything peanut butter and jelly. Like that's her thing. I let her have it. So Rocky and Boinkle, I was also too young to have authority. So Rocky and Boinkle never got adopted, and they became practice cats. And they were awesome because they were just fucking nuts. So the way it's set up, this cat clinic was basically a house they convert, like a ranch house they converted into a practice. So it has the reception area, and I would either do my homework, in the kind of the lobby area or like behind where all the receptionists were. Yeah. And I remember it so clearly. I was sitting on the ground doing my homework, and this woman had like a pen. This is in the 90s. So this woman had a pen with a little fluffy thing on top of it, pretty much like a cat toy at this point. And she's writing a check. And Rocky was like, are you fucking kidding me? Ran up, like fumbled on top of the reception, grabbed the pen and like flew off, hit his head and just kept and like slid, and we never saw the pen again. And it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And and you could hear it the whole time because he's like tapping, he's running into. It was like the sloppiest like thievery I've ever seen, yes. But it was amazing. And everybody just accepted it. They were like, "Oh, let's get you another pen."
Yeah. Like, it's amazing. Our cat can, it'll take 3 steps and fall over. But if you get it going, it looks like it's completely like it has no disorder.
Yeah, you just gotta wind it up.
Yeah, wind it up. Yeah, really. So Lori Kilmartin a few years ago wrote a book about dead people, like Dead People Suck, I think it was called.
Yeah.
So then when you write a book about dead people, then you meet people, strangers, and they know about that. Then they bring their dead people stories.
Yes.
So now you have that. So, as more and more people find out about your book, they're going to be bringing you their stories. Correct?
So I've always, it's actually, this came from like, this was already my life in a lot of ways. So I posted this a couple of years ago, right as like almost a month later, I got the book deal. But basically, people would send me unsolicited cat pictures all the time. So I do something called Catter Day.
Yes.
Didn't make it up, but basically every Saturday I post a picture of a cat. Sometimes it's my cat, but I'm really dorky. Like we could be walking down the street and if I see a cat, I'd be like, shut up, shut up, shut up. And I'm like on the ground like it's National Geographic and I'm taking pictures. I'm just an insane person. And I've gotten really into it and now I have like a better phone and I'm just like, oh my God, cat's in HD. Like I'm very excited about it. And I'll be like fishing for compliments. I was like, this is probably my best cat picture. And then my fans will be like, this is pretty good. And I was like, it's one of my best cat. Like it's not pretty good. It's like a great cat picture.
I've been doing pretty good for years.
Yeah, this is new level cat pictures. So as a way to not completely be a crazy cat lady, I decided I'm only going to post pictures on Saturday for Catter Day. And then it just became something because like I use social media so much for work and it's so much a thing I have to do that Saturday cat pictures is something I enjoy doing. I'm proud of this picture. I'm excited about it. Fuck. Uh-oh. My brain's messed up. What did we start talking about? Oh, so anyway, so people send me cat pictures all the time. Their cats, a picture they saw, memes, whatever. And when you haven't already talked to somebody in Instagram, it goes in a restricted folder in your messages and your DMs.
Oh yeah.
So like if you've never messaged me before or we're not friends, it'll go into a restricted folder, and then any pictures you send are blacked out. And every time you tap it, it becomes more and more unblurred because of dick pics.
Oh.
I've only
Shows I've never.
Yeah.
Boy, as a guy, don't have that problem.
Don't want to brag. But
wow.
So keep in mind, I get these things, and I'm like, tap. Could be a dick, could be a cat. Tap. Could be a dick, could be a cat. And then you're like, oh, it's a cat. But like, it's so many messages, a lot from dudes. And then 98% of the time, I've got a couple of dick pics and I'm just like, you know, it's a little furry. You're summer. But so
Put that one up for adoption,
yeah.
honestly.
So anyway, this guy wrote, I'm going to like butcher this thing that happened. And I put it in the book. This guy wrote, do you want to see my cat? That's all he wrote. And I was like, as long as it's not a euphemism. Right. And so then he sent me like 7 pictures of his cat. And it was just such a funny exchange that I posted it. And next thing you know, I got 400 pictures of cats that day. Oh, yeah. And and it became its own thing. And people are sending me funny pictures and silly pictures and cute pictures. So now that the book is out, people are sending me pictures of their cat on top of the book, reading the book. You know what I mean?
That's
like
pretty awesome.
Kicking the book. I love it so much. It really, like my friend actually sent one where he had the book on top of the cat, and the cat genuinely was like, "Go fuck yourself." Like just, and I was like, "This is my favorite picture." But like, I've been joking at the end of the shows, like, read to your cat 20 minutes every day. That's how you build a good relationship. If you don't have a good relationship, I guess you haven't been reading to your cat. So like, there's this, like, I really enjoy the silliness. People have written Amazon reviews from the perspective of their cat.
Oh my God.
My uncle just sent me a picture of his dog reading the book, and I was like, see, it's for everybody, guys. Like, come on.
I had the thing where I ended up buying it from Barnes & Noble online, but when I went to go search it, I couldn't remember the exact title, so I searched, you know where this is going, cat assholes.
Which makes me...
And I found it.
Yeah. Yes. Search engines, hashtags, they're all working. My favorite thing, and I'm so grateful that my editor and the publishers are just great people, is the page numbers are cat buttholes.
Yeah. And chapter 10 or whatever uses a Roman numeral.
Yes, is perfect.
It is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny because this book is for no one. It's silly. It's a specific audience, but I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but we do stand up and everything gets tested. You know, every thought, you know, first it's like, I think of it, maybe I'll test it on my sister or like another comic, and then I test it on stage. And then, but by the time it's on TV or online, if you don't like it, you don't matter. I know it works. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might not be for you, but this joke structurally, it works. 90% of the time it does well. My book, my mom read it. Just so I was like, make sure I don't say anything stupid, like and factually not true. My mom read it and my editor read it. That's it. And then I put it out. And like I sent it to I have a friend who's an equine vet. I sent a couple of, but they all have jobs and they're like important people. So I was like, if you don't have time. And so I put this thing out with one person made me, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the other person chose me. So there's a part of me that like, when they were like, this is great. I'm like, is it though? Like I've never written 200 pages and then put it out there. So when people, like I put it out so insecure where I was like, I hope you like it. I don't know who this is for. And then people were like, this is great. And I'm like, is it? Could you tell me why?
Yeah, so I can tell people?
Yeah, because I just don't. And then I hired this PR woman who's wonderful. And she was like, who do you want this to go to? I was like, are there cat podcasts? Like, I was on like 7 cat podcasts.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, how are you getting the word out?
Yeah. So I was on 7 cat podcasts, did not know. And they were so cute because then I'm thinking, oh no, this is these are real cat ladies. Like, what if they don't like it? So they would be like, oh my God, it's factual. I learned so much. It's funny. It's so funny. And I'm like, okay, these are my people. Who cares what other people think of it? These are my people. They liked it. But I have to say, I put it out and I've just been like, this is the feedback and it's too late to change anything.
Yeah. So
I've been very grateful, but I also know it's very specific.
Oh, I need to go find one of these You Talking to the Cat podcast people. I've got to look that up.
Because it's a lot of like cat behavioralists or like women that rescue cats. Like it's people that this is their life. But I'm like I even got a couple messages from people that heard me on those cat podcasts. And I just have so many questions. Like the girl that listens to the cat podcast, like, what are the other podcasts you listen to? Like, it's so specific.
Yeah.
Like, because like if I have a cat issue, I ask my mom. And if my mom doesn't know, I Google it. Like, those are my choices. But like, somebody every day is like, yeah, my cat still sucks. I'll just keep listening to a podcast till she gets better. Like, I don't know. I don't know what that thought process is.
I'm going to finish reading your book, and I know I'm going to relate to it because I have a love-hate. When this cat came to our house, I never welcomed it in the house. It was our friend found it near her house. It needed a home. My wife was like, "Yes, this is what we're looking for." And I was like, "No, I don't want a cat. I don't want a cat." I never said yes.
Yeah.
You know how many times my wife has cleaned the cat box?
Never.
0. Never.
But do you love this cat?
I love this cat so much.
What?
Or love-hate. Both. So much. I'm the cat's favorite person, and I don't want to be the cat's favorite person.
Well, that's because you're ignoring. That's because you don't want to. Yeah. Like, anybody that's allergic or doesn't care, they like it. Really is, as somebody that has like a needy attachment thing. When somebody's just like, "Yeah, you're not my cup of tea," I'm like, I could change you.
Yeah,
just give me a chance. Just get to know me. So I think every cat is just like, "Oh, you don't want this? Well, guess who's going to be peeing with me on their lap?" Yep.
Oh, you're sleeping? I'm in your face.
So what's your favorite thing about your cat, and what's your least favorite thing about your cat?
Least favorite is when I'm done playing with her, I will get the little, the little feather thing, like chase around. But if I'm not in the mood to do that, and she's just like bugging me, like staring, like a dog that begs is what the cat does.
Yeah,
the cat begs. I don't like that. I don't like being begged by a cat.
Okay.
What is the best part? No, I the truth is, when I was a kid, I was the one.
I like how you're like, this is my podcast. Fuck you. I'm not going to fucking build up this cat. It's a piece of shit. I never wanted it.
No, it's not. When I was a kid, I was the one that had to push my parents so hard because we didn't have a pet other than like a fish or a bird or something.
Yeah.
I was like, please. And dog was out of the question. Yeah. I was the one that pushed for cats when I was a kid. So I was the one that pushed for cats during when Rocco and Frankie were around. So no, I love cats.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of times like I trip over my cat all the time because she's very needy, and I've said the meanest things to her. Like, and to the point where even my roommates have been like, Jesus Christ, like I was cooking and she was following, you're cooking, you go to the fridge, you're over here, you're trying, like, sure. And I tripped over twice and I was like, you know what I'm fucking doing? Like, are you crazy? Like, just sit still and I'll drop chicken at some point. But like, what are we doing? Like, truly crazy. And then she had cancer and I had to pill her. She like the chemo was this pill. So 3 days a week I had to pill her. And I'm better than average. I'm not like as good as my mom, but I'm not like I've never pilled a cat before. Yeah. So I would say I have about a 60% success rate. But I'm on the floor rolling around with this cat, and then sometimes I think I got it, and then I'll see her spit it out like a couple feet over, and I'm like, do you want to fucking die? Do you want to fucking die? I'm not going to kill you. You're going to slowly die from cancer because you don't fucking understand. Like, just crazy. I'm allowed to curse, right? Sure. Is this the wrong time to ask?
Now she is. Are you kidding me?
But yeah, I mean, they're just, what I love about them is there's just so, I feel like I've like, as somebody that's just been this kind of like insecure, wants people to like them kind of person their whole life, like it's really refreshing to have almost like a big sister in a cat, like where they're just like, yeah, just do your thing. And if they don't like you, they're not for you. And you're like, oh, this is some really great advice, Pasta. Thank you so much. Like she's not going to change. Yeah. So I either accept her as she is, or I get rid of her. And I feel that same way about myself. This is who I am. I can improve and I'm trying to be better, but I'm 35. This is pretty much it. And then there's people in my life, like they show up, like my buddy Prakash, he's always late. He's been late for almost 20 years. And I remember the moment I started showing up late too. I hate being late. I hate it. It like my dad's voice is in my head. I feel like people are judging me. I feel like I'm a bad person. Yeah. And that's fine for me. But that's not how Prakash was raised. He's always going to be 15 minutes late. So I started showing up only 10. Like I can't do the full 15. I would show up 10 minutes late.
And you're aware of it, so it doesn't really count.
And so yeah, exactly. And so now it doesn't bother me because this is just who Prakash is. Mm-hmm. And so it slowly, I think you just start to learn the same way that you accept your friends, you accept your partner, you start to accept your pets, and you go, this is who they are. I'm never gonna wear a sweatshirt and she's not gonna try to like terrorize the strings. Like it's just never gonna happen.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give a brag about our cat.
Okay.
So I have 3 daughters, and my youngest is 19 months now. So we have the baby gates all over the place.
Yeah.
The litter box is up like in the laundry room, right? The cat, predominantly hangs out in the living room. There's a gate at the bottom of the stairs. So we had one of those little, you can buy those stairs. Like we had the set of stairs for the cat to get into the bed with us. Well, now I know. By the way, my cat podcast is on Sundays.
Yeah. And, I'm so sorry for this to bleed in.
Crossover. And so we moved the cat stairs from the bed upstairs to the side of the, how do I say this? The side of the staircase to go upstairs is like open. There's slots that is just big enough for the cat to squeeze through. Yeah. So at the bottom of the stairs is the gate, so the baby can't go up. Yeah. And we are big enough to step over it. But then on the side is a little opening. Cat goes up the stairs. So I love the fact that we set that up and she figured out, I know how to get to my litter box. I got to do this little shortcut.
Yeah, I'm not going to shit on the carpet. I'm going to go where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, I think they're pretty, and that's also what's annoying is you're trying to keep something from them and they just do whatever they want. You know what I mean? Like, going to get what they want when they want it. And so that's where the frustration is. But also when you're like, I'm going to make this like a whole obstacle course. And they're just like, I love obstacle courses. Like, they're like, I'm in it.
Yeah. And with her weird leg, it's even more difficult.
Oh, yeah. So. She's got our neurological. Mm-hmm. I like the cats that just like, it doesn't look like they can get through. Like it's the bottom of a door or something. And you're just like I have it in my book too. Like they're like liquid. Like they just seem to, like, you realize that they're mostly fur. Their bones clearly are like snake-like, and they're very.
That's why a small percentage of us should fear them.
Fear cats?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we should all fear cats. If they don't like you, they will let it be known. Yeah.
Damn right. I have one final question. We'll end it with this. Okay. You can answer this however way you want.
Okay.
How many cats is too many cats?
I have a whole system. So to me, it's about space. You know what I mean? So if you have a big ass farm or whatever, you can have as many as you want. I have an apartment. I have 2 roommates and I'm single. I think you have to take in marital status. I think you have to take in space. And I also think you have to take in just like the quality of both of your lives. My apartment is small for me. It's not fair to Mike. You know what I mean? No. Like her wind sprints are just so muted. She could have been like a Usain Bolt, but she can't because there's so many. It's just not enough space.
Short bursts.
Yeah, she wants to vault. She can't. There's not. So to me, it makes me sad when somebody's like, "Oh, I have 5 cats. Is that too many?" And I go, "Well, how big is your house?" Like I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad about their lot in life, but 5 cats in an apartment that's overcrowding. Those are COVID restrictions. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be a problem. So there's a part of me that if you're okay with the message that sounds, because at the end of the day, 5 dogs is a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's not even just that kind of cat lady stereotype. It's a lot of animals. A part of me is like, do you have problems being alone? Like it's just a lot of other. But I think if you have the space, you have the support, they're well taken care of. I think it doesn't really matter. But for me, I'm not going to go over 1 until I either have a bigger place or somebody is not scared of that fact.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, that's it. People need to buy themselves a copy of this book. I heard you don't have them here in Minneapolis with you.
No, not only did I run out, but I reached out to my editor to be like, can I get more? And they're like, we're out. Like, we had to reprint more. So that feels good. People are buying them.
It wasn't even at the nearest Barnes & Noble to my house.
Ooh.
I had to travel.
Oh, my God. So, I'm very honored. I'm going to sign the shit out of that book.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you to sign this when we're done here. Why Cats Are Assholes. People should get a copy of that. People should listen to 2 non-doctors.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you super fast. I learned from listening to your podcast, I need to clean my earbuds out more.
Yeah.
And I need to stop. I swear to God, I was listening 2 days ago, and I did this, and it has changed my life. So I thank you, and I thank Maria as well.
Yeah.
I was getting a sore neck a lot being in my car driving. I
really?
moved my seat up. I don't lean forward. I was in my car 2 hours yesterday and did not have a sore neck. You have gotten rid of my sore neck.
Oh, my God.
I swear to you.
That makes me so happy because we say don't listen to us, we're morons. We literally say everything we talk about is with little to no accuracy. We're just Googling, and we're very honest about the fact that we're idiots. But at the same time, like, we're curious, and that's really where it comes from. And so I've been struggling with my neck, and I am getting older, but I was like, it can't just be that. Like, I refuse to believe that, like, I hit 35 and then all of a sudden my bones stop working. So what am I doing wrong? So it was really interesting that, like, of course, we always look to be like, okay, maybe it's sleep. But then they said the car thing, we're both really short. She's 4'11", I'm 5'1". So it was like sitting too far from the steering wheel, and we're laughing because we're like, dude, if an airbag goes off, we're going to die because we're just like right there. But I want to read those things and put that out there. And that makes me I'm so proud of us.
And I'm not short, but it worked.
Yeah.
I promise you it worked.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So my seat's like up, I don't know, two notches short or closer.
Yeah.
And it's changed everything.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm a hero.
Yes, you are. Thank you, Liz. It's been great.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh.